swear, I'm talking about my hair today and my hair's not cooperating. Some of you may know a few months ago I cut off a ton of my hair. I'm talking like 6, 7, or 8 inches. I have no idea exactly how much it was, but it was a lot. Yes, I know I'm crazy and I did regret it a little bit at first. But now I've totally embraced the shorter, more fun, definitely more manageable style. I think that last one's the most important. With that being said though, the change was so hard to get used to. I was in so much hair shock, it wasn't even funny. All of the tools and techniques and even products that I used on my longer hair didn't really work for my short hair anymore, so it was a little bit hard to get used to. So I quickly really had to figure out what was going to work for my newer, shorter hair, and with a lot of trial and error, a lot of crazy hairstyles, I really just fallen in love with these super easy, effortless waves. So today I figured I'd share with you exactly how I create this look from start to finish, so let's get started. Before we get into the tutorial, I did have a few products to tell you guys about that are very important before I start styling my hair. So the first one, guys, is my favorite shampoo and conditioner, and if you saw my August favorites video, you've already heard all about these. So this is the Clear Scalp and Hair Total Care Nourishing Shampoo and Conditioner, and I've been hearing so many great things about these lately, and I must say when I tried them, I was very impressed. They leave my hair incredibly soft, very shiny and silky, which is very important to me, but these smell like, oh my gosh, fantastic. I cannot exactly pinpoint what these smell like, but the scent just stays with your hair and it makes me feel so girly. That's really all I use in the shower, but when I get out and my hair's still damp, I like to use a detangler. This is very important for me because I have very fine, thin hair, so my favorite, hands down to date, has been the Healthy Sexy Hair Soy Tri-Week Leave-In Conditioner. I really like this stuff because if you've tried It's a 10, that detangler that's like so heavy duty and does like 10 things, and you have fine hair, that stuff may be a little bit heavy. It definitely was for me. So this is almost just like a step down. It has a lot of moisture to it. It smells really great too, and I love the way it sprays out. Now this is the point where sometimes I'll throw in a hair product or like a smoothing cream. Those tend to be my favorite, but I don't use one on like an every wash basis, so I thought I'd share with you the one thing that I have to put in my hair no matter what, and this is the Tresemme Heat Tamer Leave-In Spray. I don't exactly know how much protection this gives my hair, but I almost use it just as like a peace of mind type of thing. The trigger here can get a little bit awkward when you're like moving around your head trying to spray it, especially if you're running low. Sometimes I have to like tilt the bottle to get it to spray out the right way and everything like that, but this is a really nice, inexpensive drugstore option if you're looking for a heat protection spray. Alright, so I guess here comes my first little tip to drying my hair. So I always, after I use those products, I comb them through, obviously, and I like to put my hair up in a turby twist. I have talked about the turby twist so much on this channel. It is one of my holy grail beauty products. I guess you could call that a product or like a tool, maybe. Like seriously, for years. I love this thing because you can put your hair up in it and it won't fall down like one of those big old towels on top of your head. But the biggest reason I love this is because when I put my hair up in it, I actually let my hair sit in that towel for like 45 minutes to an hour. I swear guys, this thing's amazing. The microfiberness of the actual towel, I'm pretty sure that's what it's made of. It really helps to absorb that excess moisture, and because I have finer hair, I really want to watch the heat I use on it, and if I can get out the majority of the moisture before I even start blow drying, it makes that process way more easy. It also helps any product that you may have put on your hair sink in. Even with my detangler and that heat tamer spray, I'll put my hair up in this, and then when I take it down like an hour, maybe even sometimes an hour and a half later, my hair is softer, and I don't even know how that's possible, but I just love it. So when I'm ready to blow dry, I just take it out of the turby twist, and my hair is still completely damp and easy to work with. Because I do have naturally curly hair, I have to make sure that my hair's a little bit more to the drier side because I don't want to use a lot of heat, but I also want to make sure that everything is still wet so I can smooth it out. So my first little step after taking everything down is to brush everything out with my Tangle Teaser, and this is my favorite hairbrush of all time, guys. So I just do that to smooth everything out and to find my part. A quick little tip though, if you want to find your part very easily, I just always comb back where I typically part my hair. I then push forward and the hair almost separates. It's really neat, and it's actually really straight. So instead of having to like get out a comb and straighten your part, this method works wonders for me. So you just do that, and then I comb it side to side, and I'm ready to start blow drying. Speaking of blow drying your hair, I have to share with you the blow dryer I use, and it is nothing fancy. I got it at Walmart, and I honestly picked it because it's so darn cute. So this is from the brand Zoe, and I really like a couple features this has. it has obviously a low, medium, high like power button, and then it also has heat settings, which I really like. So I don't keep it on low and I don't keep it on high. I really try to keep it in the middle, but this also does have a cool button, which I use sometimes, not all the time. But also it comes with a few little attachments. It comes with this one, which I use every single time I blow dry my hair. It's just one of those straight ones that's really, really nice to get like in there with your round brush, but it also comes with a diffuser. The only thing I don't like about this is that I find, even though it snaps on really well, if I hit it just right, this thing will come flying off and roll halfway across my room. So I almost wish they like twisted on or like screwed on. But speaking of the brush, I have this to share with you guys, and it's very dirty, so don't judge me, please. As far as the brand goes, I believe it's that Ion brand that I think they sell at Sally's. Like I said, if I can find a link, or at least something that's very comparable to this, I'll link it down below for you guys. But this is just a random one I had laying around my room, but I do like the size. I wanted to point that out because it's not too small and not too big, and I feel like this almost in between medium size is perfect for my short hair. As far as technique goes with blow drying my hair, I am no expert. I typically just pick it up the best I can and get it dry. That is my main concern in this step. But the one thing that I do start with is the pieces around my face, because my hair, how many times can I say it, is pretty fine, pretty thin. For some reason, like up around my hairline, it just dries super fast. So I want to make sure I get that smoothed out before there's no turning back. I typically do this side just how it is, but I always make sure to section off this side because I do have more hair, and whenever I don't, I get really curly pieces like up by my hairline, and it just makes my hair lay kind of weird. So I always make sure to just section that off and just dry it as smoothly as possible. I also do try to dry really the whole top section of my hair when I'm doing this, and this is just so I don't have to come back to it later. So once that's pretty much done, I do go on to sectioning off my hair, and I start by the nape of my neck. I typically just shoot the air back there as much as I can to get it dry most of the way, and then I try my hand at styling my hair with the round brush, which sometimes works out, it sometimes doesn't, but I just try to roll it under a little bit and dry it that way. I then just really do the exact same thing with the whole rest of my hair. Typically I'll do about 3 to 4 sections, but I always do try to make sure to flip it under a little bit. And even though I don't have crazy good control with that round brush, some days are better than others, but I feel like my hair just typically wants to flip out, which is why I do this step. Once I get back to the top, I just smooth it out a little bit more because when it's up in that clip, it can kind of get a little creasy, and then I just really flip it over. I'm trying to think of the next thing I do. I do flip my hair over to make sure that I get all of my roots because there are definitely ones that I always miss and I can feel them. So when I flip it over, I just really blow dry the heck out of it and make sure I get all of my roots dry. And once I come up, I have so much more volume. The only bad thing is that it's always temporary and that never stays in my hair. And then lastly, I'll just blow dry my part to the opposite side just for more volume, and I also feel like it helps my bangs lay better. So I'll just take it, kind of comb it through with my fingers, shoot the hot air up there, and then after that, I am done with the blow drying process. And I guess I should have said in the beginning that I always blow dry my hair at night typically. I love showering at night because I don't have to get up as early in the morning. So after that, I just comb it through, and I typically leave it down when I sleep. Sometimes I'll put it in a ponytail. Either way, it really doesn't matter. And then when I wake up in the morning, it's time to style. So the next morning, my hair obviously looks a little bit more crazy than it did when I went to bed, but I just start out by combing it through again with my, say it with me, tangle teaser. Yes, my hair tangles at the drop of a hat. And then this is where my cheese straightener comes in. I love this thing. It's like my baby. I swear I've had this since middle school, and I'm 23 years old, so knock on wood that it doesn't die on me soon because I'm like raving about it now, but oh my gosh, this thing is held up so well. So I just take this and smooth out the pieces around my face. As I'm sure you can tell by now, this is where I struggle with the most, especially for some reason over on this side, it never wants to cooperate, but I always make sure everything is smooth so everything lays nice and flat. Now onto the star of the show, my Remington curling wand. I cannot rave about these enough, guys. There are 2 sizes. I own them both. The one is smaller, and then this one is the bigger of the 2. So this one goes from 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and I just feel like this size is perfect for creating these really loose waves. So I just start by taking this, and I do section off my hair for this part. I wanted to touch on this because I don't really worry about like the tiny teensy little bottom sections of my hair because really when I'm done curling, you don't even notice them. Oh, and I almost forgot, but when I do part it off, I always make sure to kind of prime it with some hairspray. The one I used in the tutorial is this one from Decay, which is one of my all-time favorites. It definitely has super great hold, but if you want a drugstore option and one that's a little bit lighter, this L'Oreal Lock-It Fine Control Hairspray is a great option too. So as far as curling technique goes, I always make sure to hold this part down, as I'm sure you're seeing now. And I do try to always curl away from my face in the front, and then I do try to alternate them as I get to the back so they don't all clump together in one big old curl. I'm sure you noticed this, but I also make sure to let my curls set in my hand just a little bit before I let it drop. And then also I keep my hair flat against the barrel. This is something that I didn't do for a very long time, but I love the way it makes my hair look now, because whenever you do that, you almost get these girly, like really defined ringlets. This next part is kind of silly, but it's definitely something that has been super helpful to me lately. So I just take it down and then I actually clip back all of the curls that I just did before letting that top section down. Let me know if you guys do this too, because oh my gosh, it makes doing this top section of my hair so much more easy. I'm not having to root through and try to figure out what's been curled and what hasn't. So yes, definitely a big tip if you haven't tried it, because it does save me a ton of time. I really just do the exact same thing on the top portion of my hair, and as far as my bangs go, this is really like only slightly different, but I just curl them a little bit and then I blend them into that curl that's right behind them just to make them kind of flow a little bit better. But after that, I just seal everything in with more hairspray and we're on to finishing touches. We obviously got to take care of those curls now, so I always just make sure to let them cool as much as I can, and then I just tousle them all up with my fingers. This next step is something I usually do on like second and third day hair when I need more volume, but I go in and tease just a little bit. This is something though that I would do on like freshly washed hair if I do have time, but my teasing is very simple and it involves this tiny little comb, and I have no idea where I got this. I just do a few sections on each side of my hair, and it's something that's super simple. I don't tease it a lot, but I always make sure to set it with hairspray, because having fine hair, that tease will just fall right out if I don't put hairspray on it. I always try to focus most of my tease though on the back of my hair in the crown section, because I have this weird part that just kind of extends back to the back of my head, and I always try to cover that up because I think it looks kind of weird. So just with a little bit of tease, that's fixed, and then I just make sure to obviously smooth everything out as well as I can. We are on to the last product, guys. I feel like this has taken forever, but lastly, I always make sure to go into a spray oil. Now, I'm really disappointed to tell you guys about this one because obviously it's my favorite. You see how much I have left? But this is the Dove Nourishing Care Oil Detangler, and unfortunately, I feel like they discontinued this because I haven't been seeing it in stores recently. But anyway, I'm sure there's other versions that are similar to this, but I really like this because it's a super fine oil, and I love using this on dry hair. I just really spritz it mostly on my ends because that's where I need a little bit more shine, a little bit more softness after all of that heat and all of that curling. And this also does a great job at somehow reviving my curls, because after I tease, I'm kind of brushing through my hair a little bit, so I feel like I can lose some of that curl, but whenever I put this on and kind of scrunch it up a little bit, it just makes my hair look so shiny and healthy. I really hope you guys enjoyed seeing how I've been styling my hair recently, and I really wanted to touch on how long this whole process takes, because I know that I went through and I explained everything, but typically drying my hair takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and then the styling portion can take, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 20, depending on how much time I have or how cooperative my hair's being. As always, I would absolutely love if you guys gave this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I really appreciate that. But as far as the description box, all of the products will be linked down there. My social media is down there. The makeup I'm wearing on my face is down there. And other than that, guys, I just hope you have a fantastic day. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!